All right, you guys. So I'm here today with Liz Bigley Mattern of Main Street Mortgage. She's a mortgage loan originator, and we're going to talk about what is really going on
Yep.
with the government shutdown. And then we're going to talk about everything buyers need to know when they begin their home buying process, right?
Perfect.
All right,
Absolutely. We're ready.
ready to go? Okay, so
Let's do it.
thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for
So,
having me.
well, thank you. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about you and your company because you're family owned and operated. And I
Yep.
love that because in this industry, we don't see it very often. So I'm going to give you the floor to tell me
Okay.
a little bit about your company and you and what you guys do.
All right. Perfect. So we are, yes, family owned and operated. We're right in Stratford, Connecticut. My dad founded the company back in 1995. So he's been here for 30-ish years. Yeah. 30 years this year.
Yeah,
And,
amazing.
so we all worked here as kids. I answered phones for every summer. And, the nice thing about being family owned and operated is we have a great reputation. We're not hiding behind a big company, a big bank, which,
Mhm.
hey, no hate on the big banks, they're
No?
great. But like when people hear our name, Main Street Mortgage, in this area, they're like, oh, we know Dave and Liz.
Yeah.
And we have other loan officers that work here and they're wonderful and they
Mhm.
are awesome. But the name, it holds a special part to our heart, but
Yeah.
also we're right on Main Street, Stratford. And, we get a lot of family referrals because a lot of people don't move too far.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, hey, go back to Dave and oh, go back to Liz. And so we love it. We love being a family company.
Well, and I appreciate that so much because it's so close to my heart to support small local family-owned businesses, right? And so it's so much more than the numbers. Even in my, on my side of the industry, it's about the people and the community. And so I love that. And we're so happy. I'm so happy you're one of my preferred partners and so we've done deals together
Yep.
and my clients have been so happy and you guys do such an amazing job, even right down to the pregnancy, right? So if you were on maternity, dad was filling in and it was amazing.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
ball was never dropped. And so we love that. So now let's talk about, let's shift into the market
All
and the
right.
government shutdown, Liz, because I know everyone's been hearing about it. Everyone's been talking about the government shutdown. So how, if at all, is the shutdown affecting loans, Liz?
Okay. So the first big thing is we're really not seeing any impact, which is huge because a lot of people are like, oh, FHA, conventional, VA, government loans.
Sure.
Yes, but they're technically not stopped at all. We are still closing loans 30 days, getting our clear to close, no problem. There are government aspects to some of these loans, like FHA, we have our FHA case numbers. Those are coming back in a regular amount of time. So the
Okay.
only thing we're really seeing is if you're a government employee and we pass that November 50, they're just making sure you have reserves because some people aren't getting paid right now. And they're like, well, if you're applying for a loan and you have a salary job, but you're not getting paid, do you have enough to even start your mortgage once that comes due? So they are making them have reserves with Freddie Mac. Fannie Mae hasn't put a guideline out on it. FHA hasn't even talked about it. So they're underwriting per usual.
That
The
is so interesting. Okay, so that there might be some misconception out there because people don't understand, and this is why we want to share. We want to ask the
Yes.
question. So there aren't so programs aren't necessarily being affected, but approvals on government employees might be shaken a bit just because they're not getting paid.
Yes. And so there's a couple things where, like, when you get a loan, they do a verification of employment.
Hmm.
How can they verify you're working right now? Because you're technically not. Not everybody's working. Some people are. So
Sure.
we are seeing a little stop there. We are seeing some delays on flood insurance because FEMA, which is a national government regulated entity,
Sure.
FEMA works on the flood insurance policies, and they're seeing some delays, but it's not exponential delays. It's like, oh, flood insurance will be back tomorrow. Okay, well, flood insurance will be out in 2 or 3 days. It's not anything huge. Same thing with IRS transcripts and tax transcripts for people that are self-employed and they have to get the IRS tax transcripts.
Yes.
There might be a delay. They might not get them before they close. And so those are some things that we are seeing. Hey, they could impact. So what
Okay.
I'm advising people is, if you are in a flood zone, a seller or a buyer, if you're
Hmm.
self-employed, if you're a VA and we've got to check to see if you're, eligible with your benefits, add a day or two, maybe add 5 days, but
Okay.
don't expect a 20-day closing if you fall into those categories. Could you close in 20 days? Sure, if
Sure.
everything goes great. But,
Right.
err on the side of caution there just
Right.
to ensure that you're not missing deadlines and things like that.
Okay, so just plan for it. So it
Yeah.
still sounds like it's a good time to move forward, Liz, to
Yes.
have the conversation, to
Yeah.
understand where they stand, what might affect, could there be delays, but there's no reason to stop moving and shaking.
No, my thought
Okay.
is if you find a house you love,
Yeah.
move. Because what are we waiting for? You know what I
Right.
mean? We're not seeing anything crazy happening in the market other than if the right house is on the market, you're still going to be able to get your loan as long as you are still employed, obviously. But
Right.
if you've got any income things, they're working with it because they don't want to stop
Right.
buyers buying homes.
Amazing. Okay, so I
Yes.
think that actually clears up maybe, like I said, some of the misconceptions that potentially were swirling around the
Yes.
shutdown and, government-backed financing, but you just tapped into a few more things that might, put a little bit of a few day, stop or, a little slow down the process just a little bit, but we're still able to make things happen and get homes and loans closed.
Yes. Get the people in the houses. They're not stopping it. Of
Okay. Okay, I love it. I obviously have a few questions for you, so I wrote a few things
course.
down.
Go ahead.
So we'll shift gears just a little bit and we're going to talk about, Liz, for people who've never purchased a home.
Mhm.
Can you walk us through what that process looks like?
Okay.
Like the
So
beginning, for
yeah,
sure.
absolutely. The
Yeah.
first thing is the call. Just make a phone call. Call
Yep.
me, and that's where we start. A lot of people are like, I don't know where to start it. Just get on the phone. All we do is a quick conversation. Let's talk about your income.
Yep.
Let's talk about your assets. Let's talk about credit and debt. What are your goals?
Mhm.
What are you comfortable with as a monthly payment? And then we back into that purchase price.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And there's no commitment. I'm not running credit. I'm not asking for money. I'm not locking you in. We are just having a conversation.
Yeah.
And that's the first place to start.
That's
The
where it all begins.
Yes, and
Yeah.
it's 15 to 20 minutes
Yep.
and we find out, are you ready? Are you not ready? Do we need to save? Do we need to work on something? And if you are ready, that's when we kind of get you set up and say, all right, let's give you some examples. Let's find a house online that you're interested in and put a payment together. What do
Yeah.
you think of it? It's too
Uh-huh.
high, too low? Are you
Yep.
comfortable? And then you just, we work to make sure that the buyer ends up in a house that they can feel comfortable in.
Well, and
And
I think you hit the nail on the head because we as realtors love when we have these conversations with our lenders who then share this with our buyers, which is you can be pre-approved based on numbers and all the criteria for X. However, what really matters is that monthly payment.
yep,
So to back in, like you said, monthly payment back into what that price of the house might be. And look, there's always could be room to move and shake, and they've got me and they've got you to bounce off of. But that's the most important thing because we don't want our buyers getting into a home where that monthly payment is going to make them feel uncomfortable or strapped in any way,
exactly. And
right?
especially because when you buy a house, it's not just your monthly payment. You've got
Mhm.
gas, you've got UI, you've got internet, you've got
Yeah.
maybe well, septic, you've got other things. And so
Mhm.
when we talk about that's one of the things that we get on the phone a lot. And I'm like, so what are you comfortable with as a monthly payment? And they say, oh my gosh, I never thought of that.
Right.
It's like,
Right.
okay, well, then you need to take a second, go through your budget, see what you're actually bringing in.
Yeah.
What do you want to keep saving? What are
Yeah.
you comfortable spending?
Like a real plan. And you
Yes.
actually hit something else that I want to just touch down on too, which is so just say when they come to you, they're not ready, Liz. Okay. And you
Yep.
might go, okay, hey, the credit score needs to be tweaked or this needs to be tweaked. You can probably guide them along a path to set them up,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
To get
Yes.
prepared.
We do. When I have a buyer who comes to me and they're interested in buying, but maybe need to work on something, I
Yep.
put together like a really nice, it's really nice. It's a nice PDF that says, here's your income, here's your assets, here's what you're going to need for closing, here's what you want as your monthly payment. If we need to work on savings, okay, what are you bringing in every month?
Yep.
What I need you to do is take $800 every month, put it in a savings that you have no access to,
Yep.
besides
Okay.
literally like just put the money in. It's not associated with your paying off your credit cards. It's not associated with your debit card. Just chunk away $800 every paycheck or $500 or $200.
Right.
Start somewhere. Start
Sure.
somewhere. And if
Yeah.
it's going to take 2 years, that's okay.
Yep.
But if it's going to take 6 months, let's do it. Or, hey, what's going on with your credit? We're low. Let's go through your credit card utilization versus your loan or your limits. okay, let's try to bring those down. If you're at 80% of
Right.
your credit card limit, okay, well then we know why your credit's not where we want it to be or where it's going to be able to be for lending. So let's start chipping away, chip away, chip away.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, so let me ask you this, and I don't know, do you see that there are mistakes, Liz? Like, is there a commonality in a mistake or a few mistakes that buyers make or a misconception they have about purchasing or what lending looks like? Can you think of anything?
Yeah, there's a couple. So one of
Okay.
the ones that I actually we kind of see is a lot of people start online and they start on Zillow, Realtor.com. They start there. And it's like, okay. And then they start clicking apply or go see this house. And it's like, you think you're doing the right steps, but going to see the house is not your first step.
Right.
So you don't want to fall in love with a house because they're giving you an online payment, but they're looking at perfect credit, 20% down. They're not using the right mortgage insurance. And they're like, perfect house, it's 2,500. Okay. Well, you might be looking at a different loan program. The insurance might be a little bit low. The taxes might be a little bit low.
Yeah.
You might not be putting 20% down. So we see people fall in love with the online and it's like, maybe it's right for you,
Mm.
maybe it isn't.
Yeah.
So start with a broker, start with a mortgage person,
Yep.
and then we should be your first stop. Real estate agents are usually the first stop because
Yes. Yes.
Megan can get
Second
me into
stop.
a Megan
Yes.
can get me into a house. Let's go see a house.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, but that's where having that good relationship with the real estate agent is so important because a good real estate agent should be saying, hey, before we see it, let's just make sure you qualify and that you are comfortable.
Absolutely. And I'll tell
So,
you what, and I'm just going to quick, and then I want you to
yeah,
share
of
other
course.
mistakes. So you're absolutely right. So it might be me, but it might be you they come to first. But if it is me, right? Because just say, the father bought a house and they used Liz, so they're
Yeah,
coming to Liz. Okay. But if they come to me first, and however they come to me, it is always Liz, I will not show a house without pre-approval.
you
I won't.
should.
And
You
by the way,
should.
everyone talks about people's time, but it's also the energy and the motion that and emotion that's involved
Yeah.
because if they do, like you said, fall in love with something, but this, in this case, if they did put their boots on the ground in a home and they actually can't have it, that's not good for anyone. So
No.
there's not many people we need to rein in. There are some, but it's like this is the first step, right? Um, and just to go back to also your Zillow or any of the online sites, giving a little bit of information. I just had a client say, this hits the nail exactly on the head. Wow, those taxes. And I said, okay, okay, what do you mean? I'm like, said they were 7,500. And she goes, Zillow said 910 a month. And I go, wrong. It was
Yeah.
wrong. It was
Yep.
actually 626. It was $7,500. And I'm looking in the MLS, right? So
Yep.
we love the online consumer sites because people have access to them so freely,
Yep.
but don't bank on them.
That's how I say
Bank on
just
them.
use it as kind of a little resource to, use it as a resource, but not your main
Yes.
resource. Yeah.
Right. So come to you or come to me to
Yeah.
get the actual facts. All right. So that was one mistake that I love because I don't think about that. Um,
Yep.
just with regards to all the numbers, what else do you see buyers making for mistakes?
So the other mistake is just, once they get online, click apply, 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 and then you
Ah,
have all these credit hits and they're companies that you don't actually want to work with.
right.
And then your credit score gets dinged, ding, dinged.
Yeah.
And there's a grace period there. But if you
Sure.
start this 3 months ago and then you come to, I'm actually ready now. Then you
Hmm.
got like 8 different credit dings. It's like, well, your credit was here, but now we're a little bit lower. So
Yeah.
we see that. So I would always say people don't let anybody run your credit. Don't let anybody run your credit until
Mm.
you're ready to really, dive in because
Yeah.
that's tricky is you start a little earlier than you really want because you're thinking you're, setting yourself up, but wait to run your credit till you're really ready to start
Absolutely.
looking.
And I love that you have that mentality because I think that's so important. People get a little squirrely. Some people are like, well, I don't want my credit to be hit. There are others who are probably hitting that button that you're talking about that don't realize what they're even hitting.
Exactly.
Right? Having this in your hand is this like sense of urgency and everything can be achieved immediately, but like
Yes.
to remind them, pump the brakes. We want to do this with a person. We
Mhm.
don't know who's behind the phone. We don't know what buttons we're clicking. We don't know what information we're even sharing or to whom. So let's
Yes.
protect ourselves also. But so when it comes to everything in life being about people, going back to our local family owned and right,
Yep.
these relationships that allow for you to feel safe, um, and protected because you know who you're talking to and what you're getting, right? With these,
Yes.
and by the way, there's no harm and no follow no harm, no follow. What am I, what I'm trying
No
to,
harm, no foul.
yeah,
There you go.
follow. Thank you, Liz. Thank you. Okay. It comes out quickly sometimes. And I'm like, what word am I saying? But we just, when it comes to making the biggest decisions and the biggest moves and some of the biggest purchases you'll ever make in your life, we just want to make sure someone's holding your hand, right?
That's literally what I always say is like, I'm here as a guide. I'm here as
Yeah.
a resource. We are a team. Your real estate agent, your attorney, your
Yeah.
mortgage broker, and you. We're here to get you over the finish line and not put you in an uncomfortable situation. You want to be handheld by someone who does this every day. You don't
Yes.
want somebody who's like, no, you want people that are in it 100% that are
Yeah.
going to guide you the whole time so that when you close, you're like, oh, that wasn't as daunting as some people say it is.
Right. Right. And you have somebody there holding your hand. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Love it. All right.
Perfect.
So let's talk about now. If someone wants to buy, say, in the next 6 to 12 months, okay? So what can they, and we might have already touched down on this, Liz, a little bit, but
Sure.
still, when they start beginning to plan, what do you recommend they do to get prepared for a purchase in 6 months or even in a year?
Yep. So I think that's really just, keeping your job consistent. That's huge
Yeah.
because you never want to switch a job right before you're going to apply for a mortgage unless you're going, salary to salary. There's no gap and you're increasing your salary.
Right.
People that are interested in opening up their own businesses, stick to your salaried or hourly job until you own a home because, jumping into self-employed, we've got some time restrictions there. So
Yeah.
I always tell people if you're looking and you're on the fence,
Hmm.
stay with your job until you get a house and then make some moves after that
Love
if
that.
that's the goal
Great
that you
advice.
want. Yep.
Okay.
I tell people, make sure that you're not depositing large amounts of cash. Make sure that all the money that's going into your bank account is sourceable. Work on your credit. You can always pay down debt. You know what I mean? Even if you're
Yep.
like, oh, I'm at a 715, that's good. It is good. But hey, let's try to get over a 720. Let's try to get over a 680. Try to keep working on the credit. Don't apply for extra credit cards right before you want to buy a house.
Mm-hmm.
Don't close out credit cards before you want to buy a house. Um, Student loans, super important to just keep an eye on them. A lot of people were deferred, they came out of deferment. So just keep an eye on those things because you might
Okay.
think they're deferred and they might be, and they could be. But on the off chance they come out of deferment, you don't want to miss those payments right before you're ready to buy a house.
Good stuff. Okay.
Yeah, huge stuff. Lots of
Brilliant.
stuff.
Lots of stuff, but such good little points for people to now go, okay, right. And now they can think about it, jot a few notes down after they hear this. All right. One small thing, Liz,
Yeah.
that people can do to make a big difference when it comes to getting approved or even locking in a better rate. One small thing.
Save, 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 save all
Okay.
of your
Okay.
It
Okay.
is it is a small thing that you can do
I love
every
it.
single paycheck because here's the thing. You are going to buy a house. You don't want all your money to go to your down payment and closing costs. You are going to want to do things to your house,
Yeah.
buy furniture,
Yeah.
buy the you don't want to move into a house cash poor. So save, save, save. That's my biggest advice.
Okay.
It's
And
small things. It's small things. Don't eat out at a restaurant once an extra month or just, it's a small amount of your life that you
yeah.
can just kind of like stay in, stop spending.
Yeah.
So you can have a house and not have to pay rent or pay someone else's
Yeah.
mortgage. Just be disciplined and it's hard, but
Brilliant.
you
But
can.
like you just said, if it's eating out one less Friday per month, or if it's getting one less manicure or pedicure per
Yes.
month, right? Just the little things that you can do to sock away a little bit of cash so you're a little bit more prepared. Now, um, would you say that for the first time home buyer, are there any special, I want to say that might be a tip for the first time home buyer as well, but any home buyer, but are there any special programs, Liz, that we can talk to first time home buyers about?
Yeah.
That
So
make this a little less overwhelming of a process?
yeah. So a lot of people think, hey, I've got to buy a house and put 20% down.
Mm,
That is a complete falsity. That
yeah.
is a lot of people want to put 20% down so they don't have mortgage insurance, but
Right.
mortgage insurance isn't depending on your program, it could be like less than $100 if you're
Okay.
putting down 10% and you've got great credit or something. So what I would say to people is there are great 3% down programs, three and a
Yeah.
half percent down programs. One of the one I love is the Home Ready, Home Possible program. It's a conventional loan. So it's a super basic conventional loan. There's no strings attached, there's nothing. It's 3% down. You can get a seller credit to help with your closing costs.
Hmm.
And all you have to do is be under the area median income by 80%. So
Okay.
if you're a single person or even a couple and oh, my income's not strong, it might actually qualify for 3% down. And
Okay.
3% down on 300,000 is $9,000. We're not talking $100,000.
Yeah.
So same thing with FHA. FHA, you can put 3.5% down and you can get a seller credit up to 6% for your closing
I
costs.
love
That's
it.
huge,
Yes.
So my thought is there are other programs that maybe at 0% down. You can do that on VA. USDA
Sure.
loans are 0% down. So if you're in a USDA land,
Uh-huh.
you can put 0% down if you qualify for that program.
Now,
So
USDA is more like farm type properties, right?
yes, but it's town by town. So like
Okay.
a perfect example, I don't want to say the wrong town, but we'll look it up on the map. But let's just say Oxford for a second. I think
Sure.
Oxford is in USDA. It's the whole town of Oxford. So you don't have to live on a land. You don't have to live on a farm to go
Okay.
USDA. There's income qualifications there. There's certain, criteria you have to meet, but 0% down to live in.
This is amazing
Yeah,
nuggets of goodness that you
we
have
got
that
lots of,
not everybody even knows about. Not everybody even knows about. And this is why that first conversation, whether it's with me who's going to, kick over to Liz or Liz, right?
yeah,
That first conversation is so critically important because the buyers, first time, second time, fifth time, can share all their wants, needs, desires, financial situation with you, and you can then guide them, offer the options,
yeah,
and then together you create the plan.
yes.
You're
And it's
never alone in this process,
exactly. And
right?
that's why we're a team. That's what
Yeah.
it is. I'm here to give you the options.
Yeah.
Multifamily homes, you can
Yeah.
buy an FHA multifamily home with 3.5% down, three and
Yeah.
a half percent down, and you've got an investment property,
Yeah. People don't always know these things. And I think that's why it's so important for us to have these conversations, which we do all the time offline. But
yeah,
I think that's why it's so important just to get on and share this information because people are going to have light bulb moments.
yes.
They're going
And
to have light bulb, and they're not supposed to know everything. This is why you do what you do, and I do what I do, so that we can help people along the way.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So anything else you want to share with us?
Specifically about that, I don't think so. No.
Okay. So
It-
look, I think to first of all, I'm so grateful for you and for your time. And when we break down, like I said, one, and you know this, one of the largest purchases somebody will ever make. Okay. And by the way, it could be a $300,000 first time home for someone, or, a $5 million property. But when it's broken down in such a real and simple way, it gives people more confidence. So if someone is watching and wants to reach directly out to you, darling, how do they do that? What's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
Honestly, my cell phone.
Your
So,
cell phone.
all right, here I'm going to say it real slow. Get your pen, get your pen, get
And
your
I'll
paper.
put it down in the
Write it
comment
down.
section too there, guys. Go ahead.
My cell phone is 203-395-6332.
Say it
So
again.
203
Yep.
395 6332.
Awesome.
Perfect. So honestly, a call, a text, I don't hate to say it, but we're available 24/7.
So
Literally
responsive.
weekends, people see houses on the weekend. It's okay to call on a Saturday or Sunday. People work till 5. It's okay to call me at 6. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the other benefit of working with like a local broker is
Yeah.
you can call me on a Saturday. Hey, we need a pre-qual by Sunday at 10 o'clock.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Let's get it done. You know what I mean? We can get those things done.
I want to share a little anecdote. I
Yeah.
think you were at a bachelorette party. I think she was away enjoying some time, and I got a pre-approval.
Yes, if
I got
I
a
bring my computer
pre-approval.
everywhere.
Okay. So I just want to make it very well known. And by the way, you're allowed to enjoy and you have a family, which
Of
I love.
course.
And all of, and your family comes first and those boys come first, just like with me.
Of course.
And we are still always there, prepared and ready to help our people when they need us, right?
Yes, absolutely. I literally always say if I bring my computer on vacation,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get back to you. Whether it's 10 o'clock at night or
Yeah.
5 o'clock in the morning, I will get back to you. I bring it with me. And it is what it is. That's the benefit of our job is if it works for your time, we'll set up an appointment, we'll set it up. But
Yeah.
even just shoot me a text. Hey,
Yeah.
I watched your video with Megan. I really want to set up that initial call. Okay, great. We'll
Yeah.
figure out
Set
a
up
time
a
that works
call.
for you and we'll do it. We'll do
Yeah.
it.
And that's what, and I think that's like, there's a lot of freedom that that we have in the careers that we have and the professions that we have. However, it's okay too to put something on the dang calendar, right?
Oh,
So like
absolutely.
a quick cell phone call and you're going to answer and hey, but also it's okay to set something up so that you have a block of time or even to come into the office, sit down with you.
Yes.
So there's all of these different ways to get connected with you, also to get connected with me. But I think what's most important is we're always making sure we have the right team members ready to go. It's like, put me in coach. We are ready to go.
Yep.
And and I'm so grateful for you. And I really am so grateful for your time. This is the very first of many podcasts,
Woohoo.
storytelling, time that I'm gonna do or I'm gonna have, and I'm gonna have all different guests on. But I'm so grateful for you because you are the first one, Liz. So thank you. And I hope everybody enjoyed it, and I hope you did too.
Of course I did. I think this is such great information to just share and get out there.
Yeah. Well, more people need to know,
Yes.
right? Because it's not hard when you
No.
have the right people on your team. So, all right, all of Liz's contact information will be down in the captions or the comment or somewhere for everybody to
Awesome.
find. Everyone knows how to get a hold of me. So if you're thinking of buying or even selling, they know how to get a hold of the Renegade Realtor. Liz, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so
Have a
much.